Hello everyone, my name is Kieran and welcome to the Manchester United vs Leeds United match preview. And it's been a long time coming, this one really. The first time I get to say that I have watched a Man United vs Leeds game live and done a preview for one of these games, because obviously, as it suggests in the title, old rivalries are being renewed in this fixture, and whilst technically it is a friendly, both sets of players have ensured that this game will be played with the same competitive edge or a very similar competitive edge as the games in the league will be played. So I'm very, very excited for this international friendly, and I'm sure you guys are as well. But before we get into the preview stuff, as always, please do leave a like if you haven't already. Really would appreciate it. Let's try and hit 10 likes on this video. That'd be absolutely fantastic. Subscribe to the channel, of course, if you are new. We've just recently hit over 700 subscribers. Our next goal, of course, is 800 subscribers on the channel. So if you guys can help us hit that, that'd be absolutely fantastic. And of course, make sure to leave your thoughts in the live chat if you're watching live, and in the comment section down below as well. I'll be reading all of your comments, so please don't hesitate to leave your thoughts in the comment section down below, and I'll make sure I reply to you and give my thoughts on what you said. So yeah, we're going to get cracking into this preview. Of course, the graphics for, I'm going to tell you who the graphics and all that stuff is before we get into it. So of course, the backdrop was done by the Football Hub, and you guys already know he did the backdrop for the Perth Glory game as well. So make sure to check him out, the Football Hub as well. And also, in fact, the guy that did the lineup is very, very humble. Obviously, Rashford did the lineup, and I thought it was absolutely fantastic. So yeah, I'll definitely give him a bit of credit for that. So thank you very much. And if you guys do want to make me any graphics or anything like that, of course I will, kind of take it on board, and I'll try and use it, because I'm really, really kind of happy and really grateful when people do use stuff for me. So. Or do make stuff for me. I'm really, really grateful for it. So thank you very much to all of you guys that do send me stuff. And if you guys want to do that, I will definitely, use it in the future. So welcome to Rashford, of course. Welcome to Red Army MFC, and welcome Rodney. Thanks for joining, guys. As always, really do appreciate it. So we're going to get straight into this preview, and as you guys know with previews, I always like to start by talking a little bit about the opposition team. And Leeds United are obviously the opposition, and as I said before, this is the first time, because before I got into football, of course, the Man United Leeds game was a huge game in the football in Canada. When Leeds were on top, when they were in the Premier League, or the English Premier League, whatever it was called back then. I think it was still called the Premier League, but when they were there, the Man United Leeds matchup was one that everyone marked on their calendar. And of course, Leeds haven't been in the Premier League for 6, 7, 8 seasons now. So it's good to be finally playing them. And as I said, I haven't actually watched live a Manchester United Leeds game. I haven't actually watched it live, so it'll be good to see a similar sort of intensity, I hope. Yes, of course, it's a friendly game, so there probably won't be a competitive edge as if both teams are going for the title like there used to be. But I'll still be looking forward to seeing two rivals go at it. Leeds, of course, narrowly missed out on promotion to the Premier League, losing out to Frank Lampard's Derby side. Of course, Frank Lampard now managing Chelsea. But Bielsa seemed to have been doing really, really well with Leeds. They kind of bottled the league, really, at the start of the season. They were absolutely flying at the top of the table, and even towards the end, they seemed like they were going to get an automatic promotion spot. But it just slipped through their grasp. They went into the qualifying promotion stages, and they got beat. And even though I'm a Man United fan, and you're not supposed to like Leeds, I kind of wanted Leeds to come up last year just because of that rivalry. I wanted to have that game, another kind of 2 games in the football in Canada to kind of look forward to really, have good intensity. So I was a bit gutted when they didn't come up, but that's how the cookie crumbles, and we can't control that. But it'll be good to see a Leeds side, a Leeds Man United game, as I said. Welcome to Killer Clatchy Gaming, and Emmanuel, thanks for joining, guys. Really appreciate it. Killer Clatchy says, would you get rid of Matic? He seems slower than a tortoise with arthritis. I tell you what, you can't get much slower than that. But yeah, I think Matic is a very interesting one. Obviously, we'll talk a bit about different players and transfer news and stuff a bit later on. But I think my initial reaction to that is, if we were to get rid of Nemanja Matic, if it would mean that our chances of bringing in another central midfielder would get a bit higher, then I think I'd be happy. I think Matic has had, 2 full seasons at United. He's shown flashes of good form, but I think I'm not sure whether he's really up to it. I'm not sure whether he is. Of course, Killer Klatchy doesn't seem to think he is, but we'll see what happens with that. He also said, Emmanuel says, I expect this match to be intense because of the said rivalry between the two teams. Gonna watch Man United Leeds for the first time. Yep, same as me, mate. Exactly same as me. Someone who's probably watched a load of those games, of course, is Rodney. He's been supporting Man United a lot longer than I have. So yeah, as he said, Leeds is the old enemy. They do seem to be. I've watched obviously highlights of these sort of games on kind of like Premier League years, these sort of programs, and the rivalry is something which I'm yet to experience, but I'd love to experience it. So we'll see what happens with it, and I am looking forward to it, I have to say. So let's just hope it lives up to the hype. Obviously, I did see a few of the interviews with Leeds players saying that it'd be unfair on the travelling Leeds support if they didn't go into this game and play the game with an intensity. I think that's right. If you're a Leeds fan, coming all the way from England to Australia, paying all that money, you don't want to see a 0-0 dead rubber game where both teams are just kind of going soft on each other. You want to see a bit of intensity in there. I'm sure we're going to get that. And Leeds have got some decent players. Patrick Bamford for one of them. A former Swansea player as well playing for them. I can't remember his name, but a former Swansea player actually did very, very well for them last season. Probably one of their standout players. It'll come to me. It'll definitely come to me. If you guys know who it is, please do let me know. But there was a former Swansea player who was playing for Leeds last season. I can't remember who it is, but he did. Oh, Pablo Hernandez. That was it. Pablo Hernandez, very, very good player indeed. One to watch in the match tomorrow. But yeah, as I said, I'm expecting good things from Leeds, and hopefully they can give us a good run around as well. A bit more of a challenge, hopefully, than the Perth Glory guys gave us, because no disrespect to them, but we didn't. They kind of sat in their own half most of the game. We didn't really get to see, too much of our players defending. So I want to see a bit more of that. Rashford says, I see a tough game tomorrow. I don't really know much about them, but I have between them is absolutely enough. Well, yeah. I think it's going to be a good game, and I hope you're right, Rashford. I hope you're right. And to be fair, I feel like in pre-season, you don't want really easy 5-0 games. You want to be tested. You want to be, given a real run around, because ultimately fitness is the key in these sort of games. If it doesn't matter about the scoreline. It doesn't matter whether Rashford bags a hat-trick. It really doesn't. All that matters is the players get the fitness in them, and if they get tested, it's better for me. I think it's better. But that's just my little thoughts on Leeds as well. If you've got any thoughts on Leeds or anything like that, please do let me know what you do think. Any standout players you want to highlight, please do let me know. But of course, we move on to Manchester United. And a few players I want to highlight in this game who didn't actually get a run out last time out against Perth Glory. Victor Lindelof was one of them. Romelu Lukaku, I was going to say, was one of them as well, but I'm not sure if Lukaku is going to play in this game with all the speculation surrounding him and things like that. Also, Eric Bailly as well didn't get a run out, so I'm hoping he can get a run out and get some running into his legs, So yeah, I think those two I want to highlight as two players who didn't really get a run out last game. And I think I want to see Victor Lindelof have another season like he did last season, because honestly, I thought he did very, very well considering how the team overall was playing. I thought Lindelof did very, very well last season. And I'm hoping for the same. Especially if we do bring in someone like a Harry Maguire next to him. That partnership could be very, very solid indeed. And before I move on as well, I did a video on Harry Maguire yesterday. If you haven't checked that out already, make sure you do so. It's up on the channel right now. So make sure to check out my video on Harry Maguire if you haven't already. Because I did talk about kind of the Harry Maguire-Lindelof partnership and what that might bring to Manchester United if it did happen. But yeah, Lindelof is someone I want to watch. And Eric Bailly, I feel like for me, Eric Bailly could be a brilliant, brilliant squad centre-back to have. A really, really good option to have if he stays fit. And that's a big if, because Eric Bailly, since he's come to Manchester United, has had some really, really good spells of form, but he hasn't been able to keep fit for long enough and consistently enough, to really see what he can do. And it's a shame, really, because I think he had so much promise when he first came. Actually had a really, really decent start in Manchester United Red. But unfortunately, I don't really think he's fully got to where we thought he was going to be by now. And I think that is mainly because of the injuries, which is a real shame, as I said. So I'm hoping that this season he can have an injury-free season, and even if we do bring in another centre-back, he can still have a really important role as a squad-playing centre-back, someone who we can go to in the games where, say if Lindelof or Maguire or someone like that gets injured, if we do bring in Maguire, of course. But if one of those players get injured, I want to be able to say I can rely on Eric Bailly to step up right away and do a job for us, and hopefully he can do that. So those are the two players I'm going to highlight for this game. And of course, you can see my predicted lineup on the left-hand side of your screen. And I'm going to go through that right now as well. But as I said, guys, if you want to leave anything you want me to talk about in the live chat, any discussion points, any questions like that, please do feel free to do so, as you guys set the agenda on these streams. But I'm going to talk about my predicted 11. Now, as I've said before, as I said in the Perth Glory live stream, my predicted 11s are basically a guess at this point. In pre-season, you really can't be certain about what you predict. And this is definitely the same. I think, ultimately, I picked some players because they didn't really get a game last time out, and I think that'll definitely be in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's mind when picking the starting 11 for this game. But of course, it's an absolute roll of the dice. It really is. So we'll see what happens. But I'm going to, read out my starting 11. Anything that you guys disagree with or agree with, or anything interesting that I say, please let me know. Hopefully I'm saying some interesting stuff. But anyway, we'll get into it. So I've gone with De Gea in goal. I think that he'll start David De Gea. We did see Joel Pereira and Sergio Romero playing against Perth Glory, which was great to see them both playing because they are very, very good backup keepers. Some say Sergio Romero, the best backup keeper in the world. So hopefully he continues that vein of form because we might need him throughout the season next year. I've gone with Delo at left back. I believe Solskjaer did start Delo in the last game. But I'd like to see Delo playing in that left back spot. I'm not sure whether he's going to start Luke Shaw or not. So if he doesn't start Luke Shaw, I would like to see Delo get some minutes. I've gone with Lindelof and Bailly as a centre back partnership, as I mentioned. Those two, didn't really get a run out last time against Perth Glory. So I think Solskjaer want to start them and give them a bit of a run out, at least 45 minutes against Leeds tomorrow. Then I've gone with Wan-Bissaka starting at right back. Obviously he didn't start the game against Perth Glory, but I think that Wan-Bissaka this time will get the first 45 minutes, and then as you'll see later on, I feel like Daniel James will get the second one. I feel like it's going to be kind of, vice versa, swapping roles for Wan-Bissaka and Daniel James. So that's my back four. I've gone with a midfield three. Pereira, obviously, came on in the second half against Perth Glory. Scott McTominay as well, the same with him. And James Garner, who got his first goal in Man United colours against Perth Glory. Really, really happy for him. And actually, it was a very, very well taken goal. So I'm thinking that James Garner is going to start in that midfield. Then the front three, I'm going with the front three here. It might be a front two and a central attacking midfielder. Who knows what Solskjaer will go with. But I'm going to go with Greenwood, Rashford and Martial as the starting front three. I was thinking about putting Romelu Lukaku in that front three. I'm just not sure whether he's realistically going to play. So I decided to put Rashford up top. Greenwood actually looked quite lively. What that means, I'm not sure, but he did look very, very lively when he came on in that second half. Had a few really decent chances, which he didn't put away, which, hopefully his finishing, and I'm sure his finishing will improve in due course. And I've gone with Anthony Martial as well, who did start the Perth Glory game, but I feel like he's going to play on the left-hand side. As I said, these are ultimate guesses. I really don't know what's going to happen. This is just kind of my hunch, my instinct almost on this. So let me know your thoughts on my predicted lineup and anything else you want me to talk about in the live chat. Welcome Football Fan 148. Welcome Welcome, mate. Thanks for joining. Really appreciate it. He says, hey, Kieran, really hope you beat Leeds tomorrow, because as a Reading fan, I bloody hate Leeds. And after what they did to us last season, especially after on Derby County, well, there you go. I mean, we'll do our best, mate. We'll do our best to beat Leeds United. But, in the end of the day, it is a friendly game, and the result ultimately doesn't matter too much in these sort of games. But I think every United fan would love to get one over on Leeds as well. Football Fan Fever, welcome Dan, thanks for joining. Make sure to check out his channel as well. Really, really good stuff on there. He says he can't wait to watch United again tomorrow. Well, I always like watching United. I always like watching them. Oh no, I'm sorry, I was just looking at my phone to see if there was any kind of lag or anything like that. I do apologise if there is. I think my face might be moving slightly slower than usual, so I do apologise for that. Hopefully you can still see my lips move and things like that. But anyway, yeah, obviously I'm always excited to watch United play football. Even if we are in dire straits, I'm always excited to watch it. So I totally agree with you, mate. Rashford says your lineup is interesting, but I don't think Solskjaer will bench both Pogba, Mata and Lingard. It's a good point. Obviously, Lingard did start the game, so I think potentially he might come on in the second half next time. But Pogba and Mata, I think you could be right. At least one of those players will probably get into that lineup. As I said, it's a complete guess on my part. It really is a complete guess. Rashford also says, I feel like Greenwood will come on fire, just like Rooney and Messi did at 17. Just have the feeling, and remember, he's just 17. Bloody hell! I know he did look decent. He did look decent when he did play against Perth Glory. So as I said, I'm hoping for more from him, and I'm hoping we can see really, really good. I do have faith he can become a very, very good player for us. So fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Football Fan Fever says that front three looks intimidating. I think in terms, the way they've been playing in the friendlies recently, I think it does look intimidating. I think it looks good. To be honest with you, I wouldn't say that any of those players could get 25 goals a season, which obviously is a bit annoying because, if you're going to challenge the top four, you do need that X factor. You do need that player that's going to get you 25 goals a season. And I feel like Rashford and Martial, Greenwood as well could contribute to goal scoring, and definitely. But I feel like we do need that man who's going to come in and score 25, 30 goals a season if we're really going to bump ourselves to that next level. So yeah, I'm hoping we can do that. I'm hoping we can do that. I mean, potentially that's more business we can do in the market. But right now, I think we do need to focus on filling that centre-back role. So hopefully we do that. But yeah, Full Fan 148 says, cannot see Greenwood, Garner and Pereira starting. As I said, it's a complete guess. It's a complete guess, honestly. So yeah, I'm not sure whether any of... As I said before, I said it before in the Perth Glory preview. If I get all of these right, I will do a £50 giveaway on the channel. Absolutely no chance. Absolutely no chance. And, I'd love to do a giveaway. I just... I don't have that sort of money just lying about just to give away. But hopefully in the future, if we make it, who knows, I'll be able to do that sort of thing. But yeah, that's my predicted lineup anyway. I'm looking forward to the game first and foremost, really. I agree with you, Dan, Football Fan Fever. Seeing United play is it's just a great way to spend the day, really. It's a great way to spend a portion of the day. Watching Man United play most of the time. Sometimes, especially in the last few seasons, it has been a bit bad. It has been a bit draining almost. But when it's pre-season, when there's renewed optimism, you can't beat a bit of football. And it's also really good that it's on at midday as well. No silly times, no getting up at ridiculous hours in the morning to watch them. It's all good. It's all good. RB Combs won the stream, mate. Thanks for joining. Welcome back. He says, welcome, Matthias de Ligt. Yep. Of course, Matthias de Ligt looks like he's going to be signing for Juventus. Oh, is it official? It may, if it's official now, fair play. Fair play. So, yeah, I mean, obviously he was linked to Manchester United. And to be honest with you, he was probably never coming to Manchester United. he was probably never coming. I mean, it was probably just absolute media speculation the whole way through. But fair play, you've got yourself a brilliant player at 19 years of age. I'm sure he's going to have a great career. I'm sure he's going to have a brilliant career. And Juventus are building something, man. They really are building something. You know, with Ronaldo coming in, Aaron Ramsey, Adrian Rabiot, and these are just free transfers as well. To bring in Matthias de Ligt, it's looking good for Juventus, I have to say. It's looking good. Full Fan Field says, have you been watching all my vids? I did watch your latest video about Everton, I believe. The signing that, was it Arsenal are chasing, or I can't remember which club are chasing, but I did watch your latest vid about Everton. And guys, make sure you do check out his channel if you haven't already. Really, really good stuff. So make sure you do check that out. RBCom says, thoughts on Maguire to United. Well, as I've said, if you want to go check out my video I did yesterday on Harry Maguire to Manchester United, giving my thoughts on it, make sure you do check out that video. It's up on the channel right now. But my thoughts on Harry Maguire to Man United, bring it on. Bring it on. I would love to see Harry Maguire United. Even if we do have to pay the £80-85 million fee, it doesn't really matter. These days, footballers are just absolutely ridiculous money. And sometimes you've got to pay the money and ask questions later. And that's what I think is the case with this Harry Maguire deal. So it's all open. It's all open, really. I'm not sure how far ahead this is. I do know that Harry Maguire played in the pre-season friendly with Leicester tonight. He played in the second half, so maybe that'll slow down proceedings. I hope it doesn't, but it seems that Harry Maguire at the moment is still a Leicester player, but hopefully the transfer negotiations do continue and do start to accelerate a bit. So that's my thoughts on Maguire to United. As I said, it's up on the channel right now if you want to see more of my thoughts on Harry Maguire potentially joining up with the United squad. Rashford says, I know it's hard, but do you think it's not early to put pressure on Rashford at just 21? We have to be patient with him. Rooney is an example. No, I totally agree. We do have to be patient with Marcus Rashford. There's no doubt about that. You know, you can't just expect Rashford to be a world-class player at 21 years old. Yes, you've got the likes of Kylian Mbappe and people like that, but he was a special case. You know, Marcus Rashford, he's still got a lot of way to go. He's still got potential for me. I feel like he can be a very, very good United player. I think potentially we'll be able to really reap the rewards of what we've brought through the academy in kind of 2, 3, 4 seasons time. But for now, he's still going to remain a very, very important part of the squad. But I don't think he's going to be a Galactico at any point. At any point right now. But I'm still hopeful Rashford can, you know, become a really, really good player and fulfill the potential that everyone's putting on him. But I totally agree, we shouldn't be putting too much pressure on him. Football Fan 148 says the De Ligt deal is not done. He's landed for his medical ahead of his move to Juventus. Well, fair play to him. Fair play to him. Football Fan 148 says that amount of money for a 19-year-old, geez, I wish I could have that. Yeah, as I said, I wish I was good at football. But to be honest with you, if I was good at football, I probably wouldn't be here right now. And you probably know my name if I was actually good at football. But I would never be talking to you guys. So I guess swings and roundabouts. But I would still like 100,000 a week in my bank account. That does sound very, very good. Welcome MH. Thanks for joining, mate. Really appreciate it. He says, yes, Kieran. Thank you very much for joining, mate. Really appreciate it. Please do leave a like if you haven't already. That'd be absolutely fantastic. Rodney says, yes, but he's being paid world-class wages. We can wait, but for how long? I didn't think about that, but actually you are correct. As Football Fan Fever said, his wage bill is what, 200 grand a week now? He did sign a new deal. Is it about 200 grand a week? Absolute mental money. It really is mental money. So I think it's definitely a good point that the amount of money he's being paid at the moment he's definitely. I'm going to say it. I'm going to come out and say it. I don't think he's worth 200 grand a week at the moment. Potentially in the future, but it's difficult. It's difficult because we're paying someone like Rashford 200 grand a week, but other players like David De Gea and people like that, we're not prepared to give him the wages that really he deserves. So it's an interesting one. That it definitely is an interesting one, and I think Rashford. I like the fact that he signed a new deal because I do personally think that we can get more out of Marcus Rashford, but I think it's a good question. How much longer do we wait? How much longer do we wait? And if you want to go check out more of those insightful questions, make sure to check out Rodney's channel in the description down below. Cheeky plug for you there, Rodney. Welcome to the Watford Hornet as well. Thanks for joining. Welcome to the Tactical Show as well. Thanks for joining. Yo, long time. Yeah, long time, mate. Long time. But thanks for coming back. Really do appreciate it. And thanks to everyone who has joined me so far. Really, really good stuff. Rashford says, I hate it when people say Rashford should be like Mbappe and other young players like him. Jesus Christ. I mean, as I said, I think Mbappe's a special case. He's got ridiculous talent. Ridiculous talent. And I'm not sure whether he's going to really fulfill his potential at PSG. But Rashford, I don't think Rashford's on that sort of scale. Mbappe has got ice running through his veins, seemingly. You know, to be able to have the finishing ability that he did at only 18 years of age in Champions League semi-finals is ridiculous talent. Really ridiculous talent. And yes, Rashford, you know, did stick that penalty away, which did show a lot of character on his part. But I think, yeah, he's still got a way to go to get to that sort of level. But still, I'm looking forward to the future of Marcus Rashford. I am. MH says, Kieran, I'm still Glazers out and Ed Woodward. Reason why they're acting now is because they haven't got Champions League football. Well, I'm fully backing that. I'm fully Glazers out. I think if you're not Glazers out, if you do actually support what the Glazers do, then I think you need your head checked, to be honest with you. I think you do need to check in at the nearest mental hospital. But jokes aside, I think if you do still believe that the Glazers are right for this football club, I mean, potentially on a business standpoint, fair play. But in terms of footballing acumen, that's a big word, acumen. I think if you do think they've got any sort of footballing nous about them, then you need to reevaluate your thoughts. That's all I'm going to say on that. But yeah, I totally agree with you, mate. Football fan fever, says 5,000 a week would make me very happy. Do plenty with that. It's the kind of money that League 2 players are on. As I said, I'd be happy with that whatsoever. I'd be laughing all the way to the bank, as they say. I'd be just laughing all the way to the bank. Ronnie says he's paid that amount of money and he's never scored 20 league goals in the season. That is true. To be fair, he was brought in by Louis van Gaal to be a striker, let's not forget. You know, he was brought in to be that, you know, that number 9 striker. And he's seemingly been pushed out to the wing, so maybe that's kind of, you know, marred his success a bit. But I think you would expect, you know, something similar along those lines. So I'm hoping in the future he can produce those sort of numbers. And if he doesn't, then I think, you know, he might have to worry for his place at Manchester United. But he is a Manchester lad, so I think he will get a bit, you know, a bit of special treatment, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. But you know, when you are a local lad, of course you're gonna have the backing and the full support, and you know, it's gonna be difficult to get rid of him if he does go stale. But I hope he never does, and I hope he does fulfill his potential. But yeah, welcome Fergie. Thanks for joining, mate. Fergie and I as well. Really, really good channel. Make sure you check him out. Tactical Show says, you watching the game today? Is it the... Which game do you mean? Which game do you mean, Aston? Which game do you mean? Because if you mean the Leicester game, it starts at 12 o'clock midday tomorrow. But I will be watching that game. I won't be doing a live watch along for it, but I will be watching the game and giving my thoughts about it after the game as well. MH says, whoever supports the Glazers are part of the problem. Couldn't agree more. FullFan148 says, guys, I'm going to be making a second channel, but the videos will be mostly football vlogs at Reading, but I cannot think of a channel name. Any ideas? You know, help them out, guys. Help them out. Any ideas for FootballFan148? Rasta says, yeah, he's overpaid. That's true. I think people there are agreeing with Rodney, and I think I'd probably definitely go kind of. I think I could sympathise with that argument, definitely. Football Fan 148 says, I want the new shirt, but I refuse. Well, yeah, obviously, you know, if you do buy the merchandise, you are kind of supporting the Glazers, but if you really want the merchandise, in my opinion, I don't think if you really want it, then I don't think you should, be stopped by that. I think, yes, of course, if you are a die-hard supporter of the club, then I see it. But do what makes you happy, mate. Don't feel like you have to be pressured, by people on Twitter or anything. In the end, do what makes you feel, happiest. And if you want to buy that jersey, buy it. MH says Bruno Fernandes deal has taken long. It has taken very, very long indeed. Is it even going to happen? The stories about Bruno Fernandes seem to have absolutely depleted. They've gone out of the way. Harry Maguire seems to be the new transfer saga that everyone's focusing on at the moment. Is Bruno Fernandes even going to come to United? I don't know. We've still got another, 3 weeks and a bit left of the transfer window. There's still time to do a deal, but it's going to be difficult. It is going to be difficult. And to be honest with you, as of right now, if I had to make a prediction, I would predict that he's not going to come. So make of that what you will. Fourth and one for say says, just imagine if Ravel Morrison scored against us at Old Trafford. That would be soul destroying. It would be. But you know what? It's about time that he tries to realise his talent, because of all the stories I heard about him, he was one talented player. TTX says, welcome to stream TTX first and foremost. He says, hey guys, hello darkness, hello old friend. Well, yeah, that seems to be the Man United. It's almost like that should replace Glory, Glory Man United whenever the players walk out Old Trafford. But yeah, it does seem to be like that at the moment. But let's think on the positive side. We've got a really, really, good game tomorrow against Leeds, and I'm looking forward to it. And although it is good to be realistic, but I want to focus on that Leeds game tomorrow. But yeah, totally agree. Full Family says, I can't believe I got 40 views in an hour. You totally deserve it, mate. You totally deserve it. TTX says, Leeds would probably spy on our pre-season training too. Yeah, they go to such lengths. And I'm sure Bielsa is there, on his stool, probably sent out some secret agents and just spying on Phil Jones, making different faces. So yeah, MA says easiest way to get Glazers out of the club is to be relegated, which won't happen. Well, yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I'd rather keep the Glazers. I wouldn't want to be relegated. I mean, you might disagree with that, and that's a very interesting point. It's like a would you rather. Would you rather be relegated but see the Glazers leave the club, or stay in the Premier League but the Glazers continue to reign over Man United? Please let me know your thoughts. Welcome Techman TV. Thanks for joining Tech. Really appreciate it. Make sure to check out his channel as well. Really, really good stuff on there. He says, nice quiff. Well, thank you very much. I do work hard. on it. So finally it's getting some appreciation around here. But anyway, thanks for joining the stream. Ronnie thinks it's bound to happen. Full Fan Fever says the Perth game was a little boring, but I guess this Leeds match could be like a Premier League match. As I said, I hope it has a similar intensity. I do hope it has that sort of similar intensity. Listening to some of the pre-match interviews with Leeds players, and they seem to think that they want to have a lot of intensity in this game. They want to make it worthwhile to the travelling Leeds supporters. Reports there's going to be 3, 4, 5,000 Leeds supporters in the ground tomorrow, so it should be a good atmosphere whatever happens. TTX says our squad is so awful, I feel sorry for Pogba and De Gea going into next season. Whether Pogba even stays at Manchester United this season, who knows, but totally agree. Our squad is not great, and it hasn't been great for years, it has to be said. But it is going to be a slow rebuilding process if it is done right. I don't think we're going to be able to rebuild everything overnight, but potentially with a bit more investment, we could see slow improvements to this squad. RBCom says, finally some football on the 20th and 21st, as my dad is a United fan. Yeah, definitely, yeah, it's good, it's good. Tech says, is Maguire worth more than Van Dyke? At this moment in time, I don't think he is, but hopefully in the future, hopefully. But right now, it's ridiculous. A world record fee for Harry Maguire. I don't think he's worth it, but we do need someone like Maguire desperately in our back four. And in my opinion, we need to pay the money and ask questions later. But Van Dijk right now is worth about 200 million. Let's be fair. I mean, how much would you pay for Virgil van Dijk right now? I think I'd pay £200 million. I think he's worth that much. He's that good of a defender. So hopefully Maguire in the future can be worth a similar amount of money. Thanks for joining, Rodney. Really appreciate it. Make sure you do check out Rodney's channel as well if you haven't already. Great stuff over on there. Make sure you check it out in the description down below, as well as all the other channels that I rate. Make sure you do check them out. Rasmus says we're not meant to get relegated. We are meant to be winning the league. Totally agree. Totally agree. But I'm not sure. I mean, I think next season we can write off a league challenge. I'm sorry, I don't want to be negative Nancy, but I think we can write off a Premier League title challenge next season. I don't think it's going to happen. MH says, I wouldn't want to be relegated, but Glazers will be here because fans are not hurting their pocket. Couple weeks ago, 20 fans only turned up for a protest. Yeah, I mean, that's not great, but obviously, you know, people seem to be doing protests on Twitter lately. I mean, you see the Arsenal protest. Everything seems to be on social media, which, whilst it's very good, it doesn't have the same impact as, you know, turning up at their front door with pitchfork and torches. You know, that makes a statement more than just a Twitter protest, because, you know, the Twitter ones happen for about an hour, then they just get brushed under the carpet. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going to happen with these. I mean, I'm hoping that at the start of the season, if there are more protests, hopefully, you know, we do see some more protests with more people joining in and really getting their voice heard. TTX says, I don't care how much we spend as long as we don't have the Chuckle Brothers, Jones and Smalling playing our defence. Couldn't agree more, mate. Couldn't have summed it up better myself. RB Comp says, Goldberg says Maguire is better than Ramos, Chiellini, Dyck, Bonucci and Godin. He's very solid, but he's not that good. I probably wouldn't go that far, but to be fair, I do think he would make a big difference to our team. Thank you for the support, Rashford, as always. Really appreciate it. MH says, if people are crying over Harry, do they want to see Jones and Smalling? Exactly. I have seen a few people, you know, being a bit negative towards Harry Maguire, saying he's someone that we don't want at the club. But I think why? You know, he's someone we need at the club, in my opinion. We need him in that back four, along with Victor Lindelof. As I said, if you want to go check out my Harry Maguire video, make sure you do check it out. It's up on the channel right now. I do talk about the Lindelof-Maguire partnership and that potential partnership, and how it would be really beneficial, the differing styles. So I'd love to see Maguire come. Full Fan Viewer says we drank a little bit of champagne. Tech says, I'm not being negative, but I don't see much of a difference between Maguire and players like Jones and Smalling. I mean, obviously they're both English and they probably both have a bit of that same DNA, if you know what I mean. But I feel like, I mean, I would trust Maguire a lot more than I trust Phil Jones and Chris Smalling. Especially because, you know, Maguire, you know, gets into that England side. It's probably one of the first names on the team sheet for Gareth Southgate and England. So I think he is a step up, in my opinion, from Jones and Smalling. But of course, you can't really tell until he's actually signed and played games. So hopefully that does happen, and hopefully we do get to see what he's all about. M8 says, take a look at West Ham when they surrounded their owner. They are now spending because the board woke up. And I think obviously that was a it was quite a shocking protest really when we saw it, because not that many clubs do that nowadays. But it does seem to have, you know, sparked a bit of spending in that sense. So maybe that's the way to go. Maybe, you know, we need a fan to, you know, take one of the corner flags, stick it into the centre of the pitch. Who knows? Maybe that's the way to go forward. Techman says a fully fit Bailly is better than Maggie. Kurt Zouma would be a great fit for United. I mean, to be fair, Kurt Zouma is actually quite underrated in my opinion. You know, yes, he was playing for Stoke City, but I think Kurt Zouma, he's all right. You know, he's all right. You know, and I think, you know, he's had experience, you know, winning Premier League titles with Chelsea, and I think he could be an alright option. I don't think we're going to go for him, mind, but I think he'd be an alright option. Very, very good friends with Paul Pogba as well. Rashford says, I'm comparing them to Mbappe, paid 290 grand a week and scored 30 plus goals. We gave Rashi that for scoring less than 11. They are different, but come on, I think that is a bit... It's a bit of a weird one, really, but I think they're looking at the long term with Rashford. They're looking at Rashford potentially in 3, 4, 5 years' time, where if we tie him down to a contract, if we have Marcus Rashford, who potentially in that time could be one of the best players in the world, then, you know, who knows? I think it'll be a very, very good decision. Of course, if he doesn't turn out to be like that, then it'll be a bad decision, but you can't really tell until that happens. TTX says Maguire is miles better than the Chucker brothers. He can play out from the back. He can. He is definitely schooled in that way of thinking, which is a real big plus for us as well. M8 says, did you not see Liverpool versus Leicester at Anfield? Harry put in a shift, and when Leicester beat City at the King Power, he has had some very, very good performances. There's no doubt about it. He's had some very, very decent performances. Hopefully, he'll be able to do that week in, week out for Manchester United. Techman says Fulham spent 100 million last year and got relegated. Money is definitely not everything, and I agree with that. Totally agree. I mean, look at us. Look at Man United, for example. You know, since, well, I'm not sure when, but I remember I saw this graphic and it was something like, you know, in the last kind of, you know, 5, 6, 7 seasons, something around that sort of time, we'd spent nearly £900 million. And look where we are right now. You know, look where we are right now. Has it really improved us that much? It hasn't. So money definitely isn't everything. So yeah, TTX says Maguire can defend really well and makes no mistake. Plus he's good in the air, which we haven't had since Vidic. I agree, and I think if you're talking about Vidic, you know, the Lindelof-Maguire partnership could potentially be a Vidic-Ferdinand partnership, Mark II. And with that, I'm going to end the stream, guys. I think that's a bit of the bombshell. I'm going to end on it. I'm hoping that we can see more news about Harry Maguire coming in the not too distant future. And as I said, if you want to go hear my full thoughts on Harry Maguire, check out my last video up on the channel right now. But guys, thank you so much to everyone who has tuned in. Really appreciate your support as always. Please do leave a like if you haven't already, and subscribe to the channel if you are new as well. And I'm looking forward to this game tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. You know, obviously it's only a friendly, but still, you know, playing Leeds, it's old rivalries renewed, and I'm looking forward to it. And hopefully you guys are looking forward to it too. But thank you so much to everyone who has tuned in. Really do appreciate it. Please leave a like if you aren't already. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. And I'll see you tomorrow after the game for my match reaction to the game. Hopefully we do come out with the 3 points, and yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you to everyone who's joined me. Hit that notification bell as well if you want to be notified every time I go live from now on. It's just next to the subscribe button, so make sure you do press it if you haven't already. But I'm going to end it here. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully United can get the job done tomorrow against Leeds, and hopefully it's a really, really entertaining game to watch. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.